girl, have the audacity to
be yourself no matter who's around.
The conversations at Ruby's Roundtable is about starting where you are with what you have, taking bold risks and betting big on yourself. That, in a nutshell, is exactly what I'm doing with this podcast, singing, developing a clothing line, and mentoring after having the audacity to quit my TV news job. So I'm telling you about all the challenges and wins along the way. I'm also inviting familiar and respected risk takers, innovators, energizers, entrepreneurs from other careers you may know who are also beating the odds. Through these conversations at the table, not only will you have resources and takeaways to apply to your own journey, but all the motivation for you to take that leap of faith fearlessly. So, will you have the audacity to join us?
Naya Tapper, I interviewed you when you were just about to go to Tokyo. And now we've hit Paris.
Yeah.
Now you're retiring. Just had a birthday. So many different milestones, achievements. How are you feeling?
Right now, I am very grateful. I talk with my family about the fact that I feel so lucky that I've been able to accomplish so many things, and I'm just 30. I feel like I've done a lot of great things in that time, and in a sense, it's only just the beginning, so I can only imagine what more I have to accomplish. But with that as well, feeling the fatigue of all the highs and a little bit of lows of having the bronze medal win, that being a huge history making moment for the girls, for myself, for the rugby community, having my 30th birthday, going through the media stuff, and not knowing when that's going to end, as well as transitioning out of sport,
right?
Looking to go into corporate business. And so doing all the stuff involved with that of finding my next venture.
Right.
And so it's been crazy. But that's okay. That's life.
It's okay. You can get through it. I always say, look at the times where you didn't know how it was going to work out, and try to use some of that energy to remember it did work out.
Yeah.
Okay. You have this tattoo. It says, go what?
Scared.
Go what?
Scared.
So go scared, Naya. Go scared.
I always do.
I love that.
Yes.
When it comes to the next step, and we'll go to sports, we'll go to the Olympics, but because right now you're in that moment of, okay, I just announced my retirement, and you just said corporate business. Do you kind of have an idea of what you want to do? Because you majored, exercise sports science was your major, and you wanted to touch in physical therapy a little bit. So would you go back that route, or would you go a different route?
I personally do not want to go back to school. I think I've lost the passion for physical therapy and gained a passion for the business world. So I'm really interested in going into that space. And so now it's just using the networking I've done over the past 8 years to make the connections and see what opportunities are out there.
What do you like to do? When it's all said and done, rugby has gone away, you're at home and you're not watching sports. Who is that Naya? What does she like to do?
Honestly, it's very simple of just doing tasks.
Okay.
As simple as that, of having a checklist and saying I need to do this, this, and this.
Right.
And so when I think about that type of stuff, admin, managing a team, I think of project management.
Okay.
And so I was working with my mentor at the beginning of this year to prepare for the transition, and we kind of had to dig deep into, as you said, what things I genuinely like to do,
right,
and things that I can do well, and project management became that thing that made the most sense in terms of the skills that I've acquired.
Right. Because when you look at it, even though you played a sport and you're super athletic, you can transfer some of those skills to project management, meaning deadlines, just having that adrenaline of, I got to get this done, or working with the team, or trying to set goals within yourself to be the best.
Yes. And also an understanding that though we're full-time athletes, a lot of us are doing a lot of different things on the side in terms of continuing schooling, doing different projects, interning. We have a care program with our organization that allows us to explore things outside of sports so that we can prepare for the transition when it comes.
Right. That makes so much sense. And that's good that the sport is taking time out, because if you are a full-time athlete, it's so aggressive, so competitive, time consuming, but they're saying, hey, we want to make sure you're going to be good on the back end.
Yeah. Great things.
You can't go wrong with that. That trust building and relationship within the sport. So let's go to Tokyo. Tokyo, 6th place.
Yes.
And then Paris, bronze, history making. The last time, I guess, USA Rugby was on the map, and quote me if I'm wrong, but it was USA Men's Rugby.
So we've actually, as a rugby program as a whole, men or women have never medaled at the Olympics. From my understanding, I think they were saying maybe 100 years ago.
Okay.
And so it was a big thing. Yes. And for us as women to be able to do it, especially with how much women's sports is exploding right now, it just all made sense.
So what do we have here?
The bronze medal. Do you want me to?
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
Oh.
No, it's got a little rain on. Okay, so they are so bougie and so fancy.
I mean, why not?
I know, right?
Be it.
We deserve it.
Here, let me hold it.
Yes, please.
When you first put your hands on this and put it around your neck, what was that?
This is insane. I'm like, this isn't happening right now. Like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
And I know exactly how we got there, but it's crazy.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is like,
It's beautiful.
it's in a little case. It's a little,
I love it.
yeah, and I have like a pin that goes with it that I
Okay.
guess you can wear to like certain events.
Right. Oh my gosh. Are you gonna hang this? Are you gonna keep it in here, hang it up, or?
I think once I get a job, get settled, get my first apartment,
Yes.
I'll like get the medal and the jersey and the cleats
Okay.
in a show box and
Yes, that
put
would
it
be
in
cool.
there.
That would be cool.
It's so heavy.
Okay, let me take it. Let me take
Here,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
It's heavy.
Oh, it is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There she is.
We call her rose gold.
Rose gold.
Yeah.
Oh, it is so heavy. It is beautiful. I would be like,
Put it on so you can feel how
hold
heavy it is.
on.
Yeah, put it on.
Okay. Oh, I'm
So
nervous.
heavy.
You know, I ran track in college, so if you want to get on the
sure
line,
you
let
was.
me know. I'm Oh.
Heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, just think, I can just see and feel the energy from y'all standing on the podium. Like, I was start crying.
I couldn't believe it. I was in shock.
This is so crazy.
And so, like, apparently this is like a piece of the Eiffel Tower.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And then
You got it.
the bottom, it'll just say like the sport. So rugby, September, a women's tournament
Okay.
on the back. I have no clue who that is, but it looks like a stadium. Probably an important lady. The Eiffel Tower.
We'll have to figure it out one day. No, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So well deserved.
Thank
So well deserved. So for the people who are not sure, rugby, explain rugby, explain rugby sevens.
I feel like I'm so bad at this.
Okay.
But let me,
It's okay.
I'll try.
Take your time. Take your time.
So rugby sevens, it's a 14-minute game. So it's 7-minute sections, 2 of those, and then in the middle is a halftime of 2 minutes. So it doesn't seem that long, but you are playing on the same size field as a 15s team would play. And so in sevens, it's 7 versus 7 on the same field that a 15s team would play, which would be 15 people versus 15 people. So if you think about it, 7 people on a field, that's a lot of space to run, to tackle, to do all the skills that are required of the sport.
Right.
And so you have the 14-minute game. It's similar to soccer where it's not any stoppages like football. Like, it's continuous for that 7 minutes depending on how the game's going.
Right.
And so you're required to not only have speed but also to have endurance, which that combination is not easy.
Right.
It's something you have to train for a very long time to acquire. The skill the game requires a lot of different skills in terms of passing, tackling, kicking, rucking, communicating. There's so much that goes into playing the game on top of having to be fast and do it for a long time. You have to be a very fit individual to play the sport. We have, similar to football, passing the ball, but you can only pass backwards or lateral.
Okay.
But you can kick forwards.
Okay.
You can kick forward. In terms of points, it's a try when you score. It's called a try. That's worth 5 points. And then you kick for a conversion for 2 points. So a lot of the times you'll end up getting 7 points if you score.
Okay.
With scoring, when you go into the try zone, you actually have to touch the ball down. You can't just run into the try zone.
Okay.
Like in football, you can just run into the end zone and it counts. You can't do that in 7. So it's really important, if you can, as soon as you get into the try zone, to put it down, because nobody will stop trying to tackle you until you do so. And so where you place the ball depends on where you have to kick. So the closer you can get it to the middle of the post, the easier technically it's supposed to be to make the conversion.
Okay.
Sevens, I think, is a very exciting game. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of tackling, a lot of big runs. And so I think that's what brings all the fans, who also are very exciting. They love to party. They love to wear different costumes. So it's, in my mind, it's just a big party that involves a lot of athleticism.
Okay. I feel like there's a lot of moving parts. Does it go by really fast?
It depends.
Okay.
It ranges depending on who you're playing, depending on the weather, depending on what's going on in that game.
Okay. Why is Naya Tapper the best?
I want to contribute a lot of it to my track and field background, because I am known for speed, for speed, size, and strength. And that is not the most common combination for my position. Typically the girls are smaller and faster and steppy. And so I think I have an advantage there of size. And so the size with the speed and the power has allowed me to be very successful for this long, as well as taking on new skills as I've grown in the sport, in terms of being in a pod when we do a kickoff to be able to retain the ball. Also on defense, being able to get the ball back. We call that a poach. And I've gotten really good at that. And so being able to get the ball back on defense and score on offense, you're a lethal player. And you know, that's what's allowed me to be successful.
She said lethal. I love the confidence. Do you remember when you were at West Mech and you were running track, did you ever think that the Olympics would be in your future? Was that a dream?
I'll be honest, it was not a dream. I never wanted to be a professional athlete. I think when I was younger, my brother, I grew up watching him play football, and you know, I played football because I was just this rough, energetic child. And so the dream was to be the first girl in the NFL, but I didn't really know that that meant being a professional athlete. I just was like, oh, I want to be like my brother. But outside of that, like, we watched the Olympics. I remember watching Usain Bolt and like the confidence he had, and that inspired me. But as a whole, I was like, oh no, like, type A person. I want to go to college. I want to become a physical therapist, start a family, and go on about my business. And it went completely opposite, but I'm grateful for it.
So when you go to college and you're introduced to rugby, was that the start of, okay, I'm going to do the best I can to understand, to learn, and to go full at it?
No.
Okay.
I learned about rugby in high school, and I was like, oh, that would be fun. Like, I want to try. But my track coach, we were so invested then. I want to say we felt like professional athletes then, to where he was like, no, like, you're going to get injured. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't know anything about it, so I don't know what I'm missing out on. And then when I got to college, my goal going into college was to be done with sports, because I had dedicated so much of my younger years to it and missed out on a lot of stuff because of it. And so knowing I wasn't going to be the next Sha'Carri Richardson, I was like, you know, I'm just going to go on about my business and focus on academics, have a social life. But when you play sports for your whole life, you have that competitiveness in you that, though you can express it through academics and other things, you need that sports aspect to release the energy. And so I started missing sports and was like, okay, let me pick up something that will still allow me to focus on my academics, still allow me to have a social life, but be able to release all that energy that I had built up. And so that's kind of where the rugby aspect came in. It was something that I wanted to just do for fun for a very long time. And I think it was the people around me that saw the potential and pushed me to go to where I am at now.
What does that track coach say now that he told you in high school, don't focus on that, you need to focus on track, and now look at you? What does he have to say?
He is basically like my stepfather. Him and my mother dated for a very long time. We're actually getting dinner today, and so I'm going to ask him what he thinks about that. But he is the most proud coach you can ever think of. And a lot of it comes from the fact that he was my first experience of like really competitive sports and learning how to have that grittiness and mental strength to be able to get through the stuff that I had to go through for my 8-year career with rugby. And so I praise him a lot for, you know, the way he prepared me without even knowing he was preparing me. So I think he'll be okay about it.
He'll be okay.
He'll be fine.
What would you say to the young girl who wants to learn football, wants to learn rugby, wants to go and be a collegiate athlete, but may not have mentorship, may not have that person in her corner to push her? How would you inspire her?
I would suggest that she first make sure that she's truly open to being dedicated and disciplined to the sport. Because if you don't have people around you that are supporting you and pushing you to do something, it's going to be very hard to stick through it, through the highs and lows. So it needs to be something that she genuinely wants to do. And once she makes that decision, just to go into it full force, knowing that it's not going to be easy. She's going to be challenged on a daily basis, but that's okay. That's life. That's how it works. No matter what space you go in, that's going to be the case. And then as she's going through that process, the people that are good people to be around her for her to be successful will come naturally. It won't be something you have to force.
Okay. Now to speak on the girl who's in college and she was a standout in high school and she's like, I'm done with it. I don't want to do it. But maybe she has this itch, like, I want to release that competitive edge. What advice would you give to her to just go for it?
Go scared. Go scared. I mean, with Go Scared, I got that from one of the amazing ladies I met through my journey. Her name is Judy Holler. She wrote a book, Fear is My Homeboy. And it's kind of similar to Make Your Enemy Your Best Friend type of thing. And in the book, she talked about going scared and doing the things that scare you, because that is going to be what elevates you. And so that is kind of, when I read that like set with me for my whole life, which is why I got it tattooed on myself, just for the reminder of no matter what, no matter how things are going, go scared, because every time you've done that, you've been able to elevate. So that's what I would tell a young girl in college having that itch and trying to figure out if this is something she wants to pursue or not. Just go scared and see what happens.
Okay. Paint the picture of Paris being in the Olympics, that energy, the atmosphere, and also, is it a little bit of pressure because you're on this stage and you might have this mindset of, we are going to win this, head into that. So how do you fluctuate the excitement and also the pressure of, we got to get the job done?
Well, we've had a lot of experience being in those type of environments. And in addition to that, we've worked with a sports psychologist for a very long time who has prepared us for that very situation. We've talked about all the different forks in the road that may come about and how we would handle those situations individually and as a group. And so I feel like we were very prepared for the highs and lows of it, for the overstimulation of it, for the pressure of it, with not only your family and friends being there, but thousands of fans who have been following your careers.
Right.
And also new fans that you want to make a good impression on, so you're able to grow the sport. And so I think a lot of it came down to discipline, knowing when you needed to take time for yourself to be prepared mentally, emotionally, physically, because that's all it was going to require, all those things to be able to have the success that we had.
Right.
But also enjoying the moment,
right,
because you have worked so long to be there. And so just finding that balance of take care of yourself, like physically, so that, because at the end of the day, you're there to work, you're there to perform, but also enjoy it. And so I think everybody handled that situation differently depending on what they needed and didn't need it. And that's kind of how we went about it. Supported each other, no judgment around how everybody chose to navigate that experience.
Okay. What is one thing that no one knows about Naya Tapper?
I don't know. I feel like on social media we're so exposed, and also it's important to me to always try to share every aspect of myself because something will relate to somebody. Right. I would maybe say something random, like I have a very like small food palate.
Okay.
Like I do not eat that many things.
So you're picky.
I'm picky. And so we travel a lot, and everybody's like trying all these things, and I'm just like, no,
it's not you. Not today. Not today.
Can't do it. So that's something, I hope that would change in the future, but I don't see that happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one more for the people who may not know. ¿Cómo estás?
Estoy bien, ¿y tú?
That's all I got. That's all I got. You know, we're working on it. Fluent in Spanish. I read up on that, and I think I remember it from last time, but I love that for you.
Yeah, thank you.
I feel like that is an edge, especially as a woman, as an African-American woman, and you know another language. That is unstoppable behavior.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we end today, I want you to finish this sentence. Girl, have the audacity to
be yourself no matter who's around.
Okay, I like that.
Thank you.
And go scared.
And go scared.
Oh, go scared. That is the memo for today. Go scared. I'm going to keep that in the back of my head forever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. And I am so excited for your next step. And just be patient with yourself. One day at a time.
One day, one hour at a time.
Yeah. Yes. And it's all going to come to you. Those relationships, those mentors, they got you. You have a support system.
Thank you.